What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mean for breakfast. I had sausage and mozzarella and leftover pizza and a banana. For lunch, I didn't really have anything, and for dinner, I made some barbacoa tacos because my mom made some barbacoa for Crock Pot Club at work, and she brought it home. And and I just made barbacoa tacos out of it, and I gave my dad some, and my mom didn't want any because she wasn't hungry, but I gave my dad some, and yeah. Here's something interesting I've been thinking about. So my parents drink a super normal amount. They drink sometimes, and I want you guys to know that's not really a problem. But I do understand that in in this context of like someone talking about their life, and then somebody mentions their parents drinking, like you think it's going to be followed by something bad. I want you to know it's not followed by something bad. They drink a super normal amount. They're super normal about it, right? But, you know, sometimes our parents are drinking, right? And it's interesting because, of course, people act different when they drink. And I've also been to parties where people are drinking, you know, and they also act different. And the thing is I don't drink. Number one, because I can't, right? I'm 19. But, you know, I've had the opportunity to, and I haven't, because I'm not really into that. You know, out of the things you could do at a party that, lower your inhibitions, I think alcohol is probably one of the worst things you can do. I'm not into drinking. It's unhealthy. It tastes bad. I'm not interested, right? And I prefer to not act like a drunk person. But, sometimes I'm interacting with people who have been drinking, you know, whether it be people at parties or my parents. And I'm going to turn my volume down a little bit because I think I'm peaking. Yeah, okay. So I'm at parties, right? Oh my god, I keep peeking. So I'm at parties, or I'm talking to my parents, and they're drinking. And it's interesting because I feel like I act different, and maybe this is super normal, but I feel like I act different. And I sort of act, I'm gonna say almost disrespectfully, you know? Especially like to my parents in a way that I would never act if they were sober. Like, sometimes I'm interrupting, sometimes I'm saying stuff, right? Nothing like mean or anything, but I'm just like, you know, I'm holding myself in a relatively disrespectful manner that I wouldn't hold myself if my parents were, dead sober, or if my friends were dead sober, right? And I just think that's interesting. Like, I think this is super normal for someone who doesn't drink, but it's like, you know, when you're around drunk people, you sort of temper the way you act and you change the way you act to, like, be conducive to this sort of type of interaction. And I just think that's an interesting phenomenon. Another thing that I'm thinking about is government buildings in the US. They all look like old, like, Roman buildings. Like, they look like they were built in Rome. And I think that's really strange, because they weren't built in Rome. That's strange. I understand it. Greece is sort of okay. I think they're meant to look like Greek buildings, and then the Romans made their buildings look like Greek buildings. And then the Americans made their buildings look like Greek buildings. And so I understand, you know, Greece is the birthplace of democracy and such, and so they would want to make their buildings look like Grecian buildings. But I just think that's interesting. I think the reason why I'm thinking about it is because one thing that my very, very, very intelligent English teacher by the name of Renee said in English 101 in my first quarter of college was he was talking about how you go to University of Washington, which is the local sort of state school here. You go to University of Washington, and a lot of their buildings look like cathedrals. And it's rather ironic because, sort of the most anti-religion thing the most sort of atheist thing you can do is to make a building of academics look like a place of worship. That's, it's funny, it's ironic, right? Because, there were few. I feel like there's not very many, Christian graduate students. Like, let me look this up. What percentage of graduate students are Christian? Are religious? This is from Pew Research Center. Oh my god. Is this a ChatGPT question? Should I just be? No, this is more of a perplexity question. What percentage of? I tried looking it up. It didn't immediately give me a number, so I'm going to look up something that could be wrong. What percentage of graduate students in the United States are identify as religious? What? Okay, I guess I'm wrong. 75% of recent college graduates identify with an organized religion, which is interesting. I suppose I just don't know that many. Sometimes I underestimate the influence that Christianity and like religion in general has on the United States. I don't know. But, okay, ignoring the schools looking like cathedrals point. And I may have misrepresented my teacher's point there. I could be wrong, but what am I saying? What? I'm just saying that, yeah, it's just interesting how all of our government buildings look like Greek buildings. Check this out. I'm gonna get dark, but look, I changed my CSS a little bit. So my tab bar and my address bar look a little shorter. I still can't figure out how to make my address bar looks shorter, like disappear unless I hover over the tab bar, which is something I used to have and was broken by one of the Firefox updates. Well, this is LibreWolf, broken by one of the LibreWolf updates, but what can you do? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.